Welcome back everyone. Previously we learned about the concept of forfeiture. There are different situations in which the forfeiture of shares occur, and we have discussed different situations in which reissue of shares was made. It may be made at par, at discount, or at premium. So let us discuss in detail what are the different situations in which we can reissue a forfeited shares. When shares originally issued at premium and reissued at discount, that is one case, and another case is shares originally issued at premium and reissued at premium. These are the two situations in which a reissue of a forfeited shares occur. So let us discuss in brief what are the two different situations or cases. So first of all, let us start with shares originally issued at premium and reissued at discount. X Limited forfeited 200 equity shares of 10 each issued at premium. Those shares were initially issued at premium, and the premium amount is rupees 5, and a shareholder named Rajesh, for non-payment of his final call of rupees 3 per share, his shares were ultimately forfeited, and those shares were again reissued to Devraj at a discount of 4 per share. I believe you all know the concept of forfeiture, how a forfeiture works, why the company is forced to forfeit a certain number of shares of a shareholder. I believe you all know those concepts. And once a forfeiture of shares is carried out, the company will reissue those forfeited shares. Unless if there is any situation of annulment, in almost all the cases the company is reissuing. In case of annulment, it will be, the situation is quite different. If you have any doubts regarding annulment concept, go through the theoretical part which we have discussed previously. So anyway, the most probable situation the company will do is that whenever there is a non-payment of any installment money by any of the shareholder, the company will force to take various legal formalities such as cancellation of shares, and cancellation of shares means forfeiture. Once these shares are forfeited, the company will reissue the same to the public. So we are discussing the case of forfeiture and reissue. Here we are discussing a situation where the shares were once issued at premium. The company is reissuing the same at a discount. So how we are going to pass the journal entries? So let us begin with first one. Whenever there is a reissue of shares, even if the question is not mentioning anything about the forfeiture, you have to pass the journal entry for the forfeiture prior to the journal entry for the reissue. That is the concept. So first of all, let us begin with preparation of journal. I believe you all know the format of a journal. Let us begin with forfeiture entry. In this case, the share were initially issued at premium, and the forfeiture occurs or happens because of the non-payment of the final call. So the premium amount is already met by the shareholder at the time of allotment, and he failed to pay the call money. So whenever there is no issue with regard to premium, the thing is the premium amount of rupees 5 per share will not be taken into account, because we need not have to worry about the premium amount or cancellation of premium, because it is already received by the company. If the company is not receiving the premium amount, in that situation or in that particular installment only, the company has to pass the forfeiture for including the premium amount. After considering the premium amount, the forfeiture has to pass. Since this is a case where the forfeiture happens because of the failure to pay the call money, you need not have to worry anything about the premium. So as the note suggests, premium amount of rupees 5 per share will not be taken into account as it has been received in full by the company. So in this situation, you need not have to worry anything about the premium. You just consider the value of the installments alone. Don't consider the amount of premium. So the entry will be equity share capital account up to share forfeiture account to equity share first final call, and the narration being the forfeiture of 200 equity shares. Rajesh, who is holding 200 shares, failed to pay. So 200 equity shares or the non-payment of call money of rupees 3. What is the total price of one share? 10. Don't consider 15 because premium need not have to be considered, because here the forfeiture happens due to the non-payment of call money. Premium is already received by the company. Since the company already received the premium amount, we need not have to pass the entry for the premium while passing the forfeiture entry. And we have discussed about the same case of reissue previously, and this is how you have to transfer the amount of forfeiture to the capital reserve, and we have discussed about these concepts previously. And again, the next case is shares issued at premium and again reissued at premium. So this is another case. We also discussed about the same situation. I believe you all know these cases which we have discussed. Go through this, and if you have any doubts regarding any of the computation of these amounts, please let me know. So let us go to the next area which we are going to discuss in detail, that is under subscription with minimum application. You see, it is another case where the company might have issued certain number of shares, but unfortunately the public did not apply it in full for the shares issued by the concern. So that is known as under subscription, or we can say minimum receipt of minimum application likewise. So let us discuss the case. A Limited invited application for 10,000 shares of rupees 100 each at a premium of 10 per share. The amount is payable as follows: on application 25, on allotment 35, that is including premium, on first call rupees 25, and on final call rupees 25. The applications were received for 9,000 shares and they were accepted in full. All money due were received except the first and final call money on 200 shares, which were forfeited. Out of these shares, 100 shares were subsequently reissued at rupees 90 per share. You are required to pass necessary journal entries for recording the above transactions, including cash. So this is a typical type of question that deals with under subscription, as well as a case of a minimum application. And here you need to pass, first of all you need to pass the necessary journal entries for the issue. After that you need to pass the journal entry for the forfeiture. After that you have to pass the entry for the reissue. So let us begin with first stage, passing of certain journal entries with regard to each of these installments. We have done now numerous cases regarding that, so it will be quite easy. So let us go through the first entries. First one, whenever you receive application money, remember here the company issued 10,000 shares, but the company received only the payment for 9,000 shares. So you have to be very cautious regarding the amount collected from the public. That amount has to be computed very cautiously. Not on the base of 10,000 shares, you have to find the amount of application received on actual applications or actual shares subscribed, that is 9,000 shares, and the application amount is 25. So 9,000 into 25, 2,25,000. Being application money on 9,000 shares at rupees 25 is received. After that, next is the due entry. Share application account up to share capital. There is no adjustments with regard to that. So pass the same amount, 2,25,000. The narration is application money on 9,000 shares at rupees 25 each transferred to the share capital account as per the board's resolution number dated. Here the narration, this is the actual narration you have to pass in the real life business situation, but for the examination point of view you need not have to mention about the board resolution number like that. Just pass the simple narration. So that is with regard to the first installment. Next one is the journal entry for the allotment. Here it includes premium, so you have to consider the premium amount also. First of all, the due entry, share allotment account debted to share capital to security premium account. Here the share capital amount is 9,000 into the amount of allotment money. Here total allotment is 35, and the question it is mentioned that premium is 10. So allotment amount alone is 25. So 25 into 9,000, you will get 2,25,000. Here security premium is rupees 10 on how many shares? 9,000 shares. So 10 into 9,000, 90,000. If you add these two amounts together, you will get the total amount to be collected from share allotment, 3,15,000. Allotment money due on 9,000 shares of 35. You can either directly compute the 3,50,000 by multiplying 9,000 into 35, or you can add these two amounts. 35 means 25 plus 10 premium, that is known as 35. So this is the entry with regard to due entry. Next you need to pass the receipt entry. Bank account up to share allotment. Here you need not have to consider anything about the separate amount for premium. Here you can show the gross amount with regard to allotment, that is 3,50,000. It includes premium. You need not have to show the premium amount separately in the receipt entry. So that is with regard to allotment. Next you need to pass a journal entry for the next installment, that is the call money. Share first call account up to share capital. Here the first call amount is 25, just like the application amount. Here the first call also same, no adjustment with regard to first call. So the amount is 2,25,000, that is 9,000 into 25. First call money due on 9,000 shares at rupees 25 as per the details given in the question. In the question, if they are mentioning anything about the board resolution number or date like that, please mention that. Otherwise you need not have to show it in the narration. This is a due entry. Next one is a payment entry. Bank account up to share first call. Here you have to be very cautious, because in the second paragraph there is an additional information. The company received everything except for the first and final call money on 200 shares. So on 200 shares the company didn't receive any payment, and especially in case of first call, not only first call, in case of final call also the company didn't receive any payment for 200 shares. So you have to consider that at the time of receipt. Usually the calls in arrears, calls in advance, you have to consider those at the time of receipt entry. So here 2,20,000 is 9,000 was the total number of shares subscribed. Out of 9,000, 200 shares worth of shareholders didn't pay the first call. So 9,000 minus 200, you will get 8,800. So the company is going to receive the amount for 8,800 shares. What is the value of first call? First call is 25. So 8,800 into 25, 2,20,000. So that is with regard to first call. Next is the journal entry for the final call. Here also the final call amount is 25, total number of share is 9,000. So the amount of final call is also 2,25,000. Entry is share final call account up to share capital 2,25,000. And here also you have to consider the adjustment that shareholder holding 200 shares. The company didn't receive any receipt on those particular 200 shares. So you have to deduct that amount also. Bank account to share final call, 9,000 shares was the actual number of shares subscribed by the public, but out of which 200 shares the company didn't receive any payment for final call. So 9,000 minus 200, you will get 8,800 into final call is rupees 25, so you will get 2,20,000. So you have passed all the entries with regard to each of these installments relating to the issue. Next you need to pass the journal entry for the forfeiture. So the entry for the forfeiture is share capital account up to share first call, share final call, and forfeiture. Remember in this question here the company has issued initially at premium. So at the time of forfeiture, do we have to consider the premium amount? That is a note that is prescribed here. The share premium on forfeited shares has already been realized, means the company has already received the amount of premium. So the company need not have to worry anything about its cancellation. So the share premium should not be debited at the time of forfeiture of shares. That means at the cancellation, actually we are doing is we are cancelling the shares held by a certain person. Since the premium is already received by the company is not going to repay it back. But if the company didn't receive the premium amount, the company should have taken necessary steps to cancel those premium amount, because in the due entry the company has already passed the details regarding premium, and cancel means non-payment actually occurs at the time of receipt entry. So the company has to cancel the details regarding the premium. That is why at the time of premium the forfeiture cases where premium has to be considered, and in this case the premium is already received by the company, so the company need not have to worry anything about the cancellation or at the time of forfeiture anything about premium. So the entry is share capital account up to share first call, share final call, and forfeiture. And how many shares were cancelled? 200 shares worth rupees 100. So 200 into 100, 20,000. Next one, what is the value of first call? First call is 25. So 200 into 25, 5,000. Next one, 200 into 25, again 5,000. And forfeiture means what were the installment that were already paid by the shareholders. They have successfully paid application and allotment. So application is 25 and allotment is 25. Here the 35 means including premium. Since we are not considering premium amount, we consider only the actual value of installment, that is 25. So 200 into 50, 10,000. Forfeiture of 200 shares or 100 each for the non-payment of first and final call money as per the details given in the question. So we have passed the entry for the forfeiture. Next one, the entry for the reissue. Out of 200 shares, the company reissued 100 shares at rupees 90. So that is an adjustment you have to consider very cautiously. In the previous cases we have dealt numerous situations of forfeiture and reissue where certain number of shares had been forfeited. The company has reissued those same forfeited shares. That means that if the company has forfeited 100 shares, the company will reissue all the 100 shares. If the company has forfeited 50 shares, the company will reissue all the 50 shares. There is no other issue. But in this case, from this case onwards, be very cautious. Here the 200 shares were forfeited, but the company is reissuing only 100. So you have to consider that area of adjustment very carefully. So next one, with regard to reissue the entry is very easy. Bank account up to forfeiture account up to share capital, but the amount your computation has to be very cautious. Here 100 shares of rupees 90 per share. See, out of 100 shares are subsequently reissued for 90 per share, so total 9,000. So bank account debtor 9,000, 90 into 100. Next one, forfeiture. Here we actually show the discount on reissue. How many shares were reissued? 100 shares. What was the face value of the share capital? That was 100. Now it is reissued for 90. So what is the discount? 100 minus 90, 10. So 10 into 100, 1000. That is how you have to show the forfeiture. In forfeiture of shares, we will show the amount of discount on reissue. That is the concept. To share capital, the total amount that has been reissued for rupees 10,000 shares. Next, you need to pass the journal entry for transfer of forfeiture to the capital reserve. The entry is forfeiture share account up to capital reserve 4,000. Here the computation of 4,000 is quite tricky. You have to be very careful. Previously we have done the difference between this amount and this amount. Don't do like this. Here, if we go through it, you can see 5,000 minus 1,000, 4,000. Don't think like that. There is a certain computation for that. First of all, how we are going to find the amount to be transferred to capital reserve? Here I have mentioned that we can't take the difference between these two because this 5,000 relating to 200 shares and this 1,000 relating to 100 shares. So we can't take the difference between these two amounts. If these shares were reissued for full number of shares, that means here the shares cancelled was 200 shares. If the company has reissued all the shares, you can take the difference between these two. Since the company is reissuing only half of the shares, you can't simply take the difference between these two amounts. So there is a certain computation. Here the amount forfeited per share, that is, here the forfeiture amount is 10,000. On how many shares? 200 shares. So on 200 shares, the company has forfeited 10,000. So 10,000 divided by 200, you will get amount forfeited per share. For on one share, what is the amount forfeited? So you will get like that. Now you have, from this forfeited amount, you need to deduct the amount of discount allowed on reissue. Here the company allowed a discount of 10. So the remaining amount is 40. So this 40 is the actual surplus on one share the company is going to receive. Next, the amount to be transferred to the capital reserve is on the basis of this particular surplus. So the amount to be transferred to the capital reserve is, for on one share it is 40. So how many shares were issued? 100. So 40 into 100, 4,000. See, this is how you have to find the amount to be transferred to the capital reserve. I believe you have understand the concept. During the calculation of amount to be transferred to the capital reserve, if the company is not fully reissuing all the forfeited share, you have to do the computation like this. Don't go simply take the difference between the forfeiture in the forfeiture amount in the forfeiture entry and the forfeiture amount in the reissue entry. Don't take the difference. You can take the difference if the company is reissuing all the shares. But if the company is not reissuing all the shares, you have to do the computation like this. If you have any doubt regarding this 10,000 by 200, just go through the computation we done in the previous question. We have done like this. For this much shares, we got this much amount as forfeiture. So how, for this much shares, how we are going, how much amount of forfeiture amount can be obtained? We have done such a simple type of trick computation in the previous case. You can do like that. Otherwise, you can do like this one which we have discussed. So this is how you have to do the computations. So let us go to the next case. Forfeiture and reissue. Beautiful Company Limited issued 3,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each, payable as 3 per share on application, 5 per share on allotment, including premium, and 4 per share on call. All the shares were subscribed. Money due on all shares were fully received except Ram holding 50 shares failed to pay the allotment and call money, and Sham holding 100 shares failed to pay the call money. So there are many computations. All these 150 shares were forfeited. Of the forfeited shares, 125 shares, including the whole of Ram shares, were subsequently reissued to Jadu as fully paid up at a discount of 2 per share. Oh, this is actually a tricky question. You have to be very careful while dealing this one. Anyway, let us go through the case. In this question, you need to pass all the, need not have to pass all the entries. You just have to pass the journal entry for the forfeiture and the reissue and the amount to be transferred to the capital. So actually 3 entries is enough, but in this question you have to prepare the balance sheet also. So this is a lengthy question, and not only the computations, the adjustment is quite tricky. You have to be very careful. Okay, let us discuss in brief how we are going to deal such a situation. First of all, let us pass the journal entry for the forfeiture. Whatever the adjustment, whatever the case may be, there is no issue with regard to the forfeiture. It is very easy. You have to consider only one thing: whether the forfeiture happens in an installment that includes premium. If the installment for which the non-payment occurs contains premium amount, show the premium amount in the forfeiture entry. Otherwise, neglect the premium amount. So, in this case, what is the situation? Allotment includes premium. Here there are two parties who didn't pay. One party failed to pay allotment and call money. Very good. So, you have to consider premium. And another party didn't pay the call money. So anyway, during the forfeiture, you have to show the combined entry, means Whatever the number of shareholders, you have to show the cancellation for all the shares together. So anyway, you have to consider the premium amount. So the entry: equity share capital account up to 2, share premium to equity share allotment, equity share call to forfeited. So here I believe you know the entries for the forfeiture whenever there is a premium amount. So how we are going to find the amounts? So let us go through the computations. Here total 100 plus 50 shares are forfeited, that is 50 shares held by Ram, 100 shares held by Sham. So total 150 shares are going to be forfeited. And what is the price of forfeited share? That is 10. It is a case of premium, so you have to show the amount of share in the share capital side and the share of amount of premium in the premium side. So 150 into 10, 1500. What is the premium amount? Premium is rupees 2. And in this case you have to be very careful. The premium amount is shown here because you are going to cancel the share for the non-payment of an installment. Actually, who didn't pay the premium amount? Ram and Sham is there. Did both the parties didn't pay the premium amount? Only one person didn't pay the premium. Who was it? It was Ram. Ram who holding 50 share failed to pay allotment money. So only we have to consider the premium part with regard to Ram. Ram means one holding 50 shares. So the amount of premium is 50 into 2. You have to be very careful. In the previous cases we have done the computations like this. You can see that total number of shares will be same for all the cases. But here you have to be very careful. Here we are showing the forfeiture or cancellation of two parties, shares held by two parties. One party holding 100 shares and another party holding 50 shares. So here the share premium is shown in the forfeiture because of the non-payment of the one of the installment containing premium, and here only one party failed to pay the premium amount. So only consider the shares of that particular person. So 50 into 100. Next one, equity share allotment. Equity share allotment, here you have to go through who all didn't pay the allotment. Here also Ram only didn't pay the allotment. Sham already paid the allotment money. He only failed to pay call money. So at the time of allotment also you have to consider only the shares held by Ram. So the entry will be 50 into the value of allotment. Allotment is 5. Here you have to show the total amount of allotment as 5 because we have already considered the premium. If we didn't consider the premium, you have to consider only the actual amount of allotment. So 50 into 5, 250. Next one, equity share call. Here in this case also you have to be very careful. How there are two parties, Ram and Shyam, who all didn't pay the call money. Both the parties failed to pay the call money. So the total number of shares will be 50 into 4 and 100 into 4. You can either write 100 plus 50, 150 into 4. You can do like that, or you can do like this. That's up your discretion. And finally, forfeiture. Forfeiture means you have to show the actual payment made by the person. Here there is Ram and Sham. You have to be very careful. What was the amount paid by Ram and what was the amount paid by Sham? You have to find it individually or separately to find the actual amount of forfeiture. So here also we will do like that. 50 shares held by Ram. Ram failed to pay allotment, so he had paid application money. Application is 50 into 3. Next one, Sham holding 100 shares failed to pay call money only. So you have to consider the value of application and allotment. Application is 3, allotment is rupees 3. Remember here Sham already dealt the amount of premium. So in case of Sham, you have to neglect the premium side. Okay, so 100 shares held by Sham. So the Sham has paid 3 on application, 3 on allotment because we have to neglect premium side. Out of 5, 2 is premium, that's so remaining is 3. So 3 plus 3, 6. 100 into 6 plus 50 into 3, 750. Forfeiture of 150 shares of non-payment of allotment money and call money of 50 shares, and for the non-payment of call money on 100 shares as per the details given. It's a very lengthy one. Not only not means actually the computation is not at all lengthy, but the concept is lengthy. I believe you have understand the concept of these amount, how we have computed this amount and how we have done these computations. If you have any queries, please let me know. And remember, while dealing with these cases, in a general glance, you can see there is only three entries: forfeiture entry, reissue entry, and transfer entry. But the computation is very tricky. You have to be very careful. You have to be very cautious. Go through the question wisely. See the computations we have done a lot messy computation here. So go through it very carefully. So let us go to next one. So we have successfully passed the entries for the forfeiture. Next one, you need to pass the journal entry for the reissue, and then the reissue also you have to be very careful. Out of 150 shares, the company is reissuing only 125, and in for making the question more complex, it is mentioned that of the share forfeited, 125 shares including whole of RAM. Whole of RAM means 50 shares of RAM, and remaining 125 means 75. Remaining 75 shares of SHAM. So they are making the question very tricky. So next one, you need to pass a journal entry for the reissue. So reissue, the entry is very easy and the amount is computations is easy. The only thing is you have to be very cautious while finding out the amount to be transferred to the capital. So the next entry is the tricky one. Okay. The entry for the reissue is bank account up to forfeiture account up to equity share capital. For the bank amount, here the total number of shares reissued is 125, and it is subsequently reissued to Jadu as fully paid up discount on 2. So it was reissued for the 8 rupees. So 125 into 8,000. Discount part is forfeiture in shares 125 into 2, 250. So the total amount of equity share capital is 125 into 10, 1250. So that is with regard to reissue. Next one is forfeiture. Transfer of forfeiture amount, balance of forfeiture account to the capital reserve. So here you have to consider the amount of balance that has to be transferred from forfeiture account to the capital reserve. Is computation is quite tricky. The thing is, 150 shares were cancelled by the concern, and out of which 125 were reissued, and within 125 there is another trick, because full shares of RAM is reissued, but only a certain portion of SHAM is reissued. So the computation of how much is the amount to be forfeited, that has to be balance has to be transferred to the capital. That computation is very tricky. So you have to do these following steps which we are going to discuss now. Calculation of amount to be transferred to capital reserve, you have to find individually for RAM and SHAM. So let us begin with RAM. The amount forfeited per share on RAM. The amount forfeited per share on RAM. What was the forfeiture amount for RAM? 3 per share. So 3. And is there any discount with regard to that? Less loss on reissue per share. The company reissued for 125 shares on discount of 2. So 3 minus 2, you will get surplus of rupees 1. On one share, the company has received surplus for the because of that cancellation. So how many shares of RAM were cancelled? 50 shares. So the company has gained a surplus of rupees 50. That is 1 rupee on 50 shares, because transfer to the capital reserve with regard to RAM share is rupees 50. That is with regard to RAM. On forfeiture and reissue of RAM shares, the company received a surplus of rupees 50. That surplus is going to be transferred to the capital reserve. That is a concept. We are transferring anything excess with regard to reissue of a forfeited share to the concerned reserve. That is a concept. So with regard to RAM, the company has received an excess amount of rupees 50. So let us find out the excess amount that is obtained by the concern with regard to SHAM. Amount forfeited per share of SHAM. For that, if you can go through the question, or you can easily find the amount forfeited per share on SHAM by going through the computer. See, here the forfeited share with regard to SHAM is 6. So 6, and the company has provided or allowed a discount of rupees 2. See, the company has provided 2, so you have to deduct that. So the company received a surplus of rupees 4 on one share. So how many shares were reissued by the concern? Means the company. 100 shares of Sham were forfeited and for which the company received surplus 4. How many shares were reissued? 75 shares. So for 75 shares only the company is going, because of reissue of that 75 only, company is earning 300. Actually the shares of Sham forfeited was 100, but the company didn't reissue that all 100 shares, only reissued 75 shares. So the company is going to receive surplus on only that particular 75 shares. That is why I have mentioned that you can't simply take the difference between these two. There is a huge difference. See, I believe you have understand the difference of that computations. So with regard to Sham, the company has gained rupees 300. So now the company has received total of 350 rupees as a part of balance on the forfeiture, and this amount is going to be transferred to the capital reserve. This amount has to be transferred. So next one, the entry is forfeited shares are conducted to capital reserve 350. So this is how you have to find the amount to be transferred to the capital reserve whenever the company is reissuing only a certain portion or proportion of shares actually forfeited. I hope you have understand the concept. Go through it very thoroughly. First of all, go through the concept and case numerous times and familiarize steps we have done. Then only you will get a clear picture. Next one, we haven't completed the computation. Next one, what is the actual amount of security premium? Actually, whenever there is a premium, you have to show the amount of premium as security premium under the head reserves and surplus under the liability side. So what is the amount of premium that has to be shown in the balance sheet? The total amount of premium is 2 on one share. How many shares were issued by the concern? Initially 3000 shares. So 3000 into 2, you will get 6000 shares. So actually not shares, amount. So from premium side the company is going to receive 6000. But there is one issue. We have cancelled certain number of shares held by a person who didn't pay the premium. So what was the amount that has been cancelled? Don't worry, go through the computation with regard to forfeiture where the amount of premium that is cancelled is already shown here. Just deduct that amount from the 6000 less amount reversed on forfeiture. Amount reversed on forfeiture means amount cancelled at the time of forfeiture. Here the amount of rupees 100 cancelled by the concern because they didn't pay the premium. So and the company has to receive 6000 as premium, but one person who holding 100 shares didn't pay the premium. So how the company is going to receive anything? So a certain not 100 shares, 50 shares. So the person holding 50 shares didn't pay the premium. So 50 into 2, 100 rupees with regard to premium. The company is not going to receive rupees 100 on premium with regard to premium. So the actual amount of security premium to be shown in the balance sheet is 5900. And now we have already made the necessary journal entries, we have made necessary working notes and computation. Now we can go for the preparation of balance sheet. The balance sheet format is balance sheet of whatever the name of the concern given in the question, mention it as on as per the schedule 6 of the Companies Act 1956. Try to show these statement as like this in the examination because it is actually the format of the balance sheet of a concern. Liabilities and assets. Actually the company's balance sheet is a vertical balance sheet. We will discuss both the cases. First of all, in the asset side, fixed, they are just showing the pattern of the balance sheet: fixed asset, investment, current assets. And under current assets, usually when with regard to issue of shares and issue of debentures, we will be showing the amount only with regard to current assets, because there are no other details with regard to fixed assets or investment, unless if it is a case of payment of purchase of any asset through shares. If that case, in that case, you have to show the amount of fixed asset. Unless otherwise specified, you have to show only with regard to current assets. So with regard to current assets, here the total amount of 336,150. How did we got 36,150? It's very simple. Here in the question, details regarding issue is given, each of the installments is given, and the question they have mentioned only to pass entry with regard to forfeiture and reissue. So actually there are details given in the question to find out the complete amount at the initial stage. Initial stage means the steps which we have passed or has to be followed at the time of issue, application, at the time of allotment, at the time of first call, final call, like that. So in all those cases, we haven't actually, we have to pass all those entry. After that only forfeiture has to be done or dealt with. In this question, the company only means the question is only mentioning to pass the forfeiture entry. We didn't pass the entries for the issues, but you, while preparing balance sheet, you have to find out the amount of cash. Cash means the amount received on each installment, amount received on application, the amount received on allotment, amount received on first call, and amount received on final call. You have to do those computation as a working note in another paper and find out the amount of bank balance. Bank balance is very easy. Just add the bank amounts in each of these columns. So 36,150. If you go through the computation, you will go through it as an activity. Next one. In the share capital side, you can show the total amount of capital raised, that is 3,000 equity shares of 10 each, that is 30,000. But the company didn't receive 30,000 because the subscribed shares is 2,975 on 10 shares, that is 29,750. And in this amount you have to add the amount that comes as a balance in the forfeiture account. Forfeiture account, we will show the credit side 750, in the debit side 250, and we have also found out the amount to be transferred to capital reserve, that is 350. But even after writing all these amount, there is a difference of rupees 150. So that difference occurs because the company didn't reissue all the shares forfeited. That is why such a difference comes. That amount has to be added along with the share capital, that is 150. That amount has to be added with the share capital and forfeited shares 150. That is a concept. So 29,900. After that, you have to show the amount of security premium under the head reserves and surplus, and 5,900. We have done the computation for 5,900. How we have received 5,900, we have discussed all that. Now if you take the total, and remember one more thing, you have to show the amount of capital reserve that is transferred from the forfeiture account, show it as separately in the balance sheet. Now you can take the total, you will get a tally amount. So this is how you have to show the balance sheet of a company. Actually you have to show a vertical balance sheet. For the time being I am discussing horizontal balance sheet. We will discuss about for vertical balance sheet in other cases. And balance sheet asset as per the schedule 3 of the Companies Act. This is another format. This is actually the vertical format. Here you will begin with liability side. First one, equity and liability. Share capital 29,900. Here you have to show only the total amount, that is 29,900. You need not have to show separately the actual shares issued and subscribed and forfeiture amount. Instead you can show the total amount 29,950. And reserves and surplus, here 5,900. Under reserves and surplus there are two items: security premium 5,900, capital reserve 350. You can add these two amounts and show. That is how 6,250 is obtained. So if you add all these, you will get total liability of 36,150. So liability side is over. Next one is asset side. Here there are no other non-current assets. There is only current assets in the form of bank, that is cash and cash equivalents 36,150. So this is another format of presenting the balance sheet of a company. You can either follow this one or this one. Usually the company follow a system of Schedule 3. As per the Schedule 3 of Companies Act, company follow the balance sheet in the horizontal pattern. Sorry, vertical pattern. This one is vertical one from top to bottom. This one is horizontal pattern. So this is how you have to deal with the situation where whenever there is a forfeiture and reissue comes in a question. And in this case, we have discussed many adjustments and many computations regarding forfeiture and reissue. Go through these cases very carefully. Familiarize the concepts which we have discussed. We will discuss about the further cases in the next sessions. If you have any queries, please let me know.